All right, everybody, welcome back to another week, another episode of the Boulevard Podcast here. Week 14 of the college football season does not seem real. And I know we say it every week, it's going by real quick, but it always does every year. And unfortunately, that's where we're at. But we got some good football coming up. Real quick before we dive into this thing, first of all, obviously, it's just me and Jose tonight. Our boy John is going through some family things at home, some personal stuff he's got going on at home. So we are going to run it just the two of us tonight, and then everybody kind of keep him in your thoughts and prayers and thanking him tonight. So it's going to be the two of us tonight. And I know, as we said last week, it's going to be kind of a longer episode, but for those circumstances and the holidays and stuff, we're probably going to keep this one fairly short. We're going to run through a few things with the college football playoff, and then we're going to run through some games this weekend, and then we'll give out some our Pilgrim parlays for tomorrow, and also we'll be posting that as well. So be on the lookout for that on all our socials. So, with that being said, let's hop into it. College football playoff bracket. So far at the 12 seed is the group of 5 representative is sitting at Tulane, which I know we kind of all talked in our group text that was kind of a shocker. To not really, we really weren't expecting to see Tulane in the 12th seed. As of right now, they'd be playing Texas Tech in the first round at the 5 seed, Notre Dame and Oklahoma as the 9 and 8, Notre Dame being the 9, Oklahoma being the 8 seed. Miami at the 11 seed playing at Oregon, the 6 seed, and then Alabama and Ole Miss at the 10 and 7 seed, Alabama being the 10 seed. Georgia getting a bye with the number 4 seed, Ohio State at 1, Texas A&M at 3, Indiana at 2. So we kind of looked through some of these scenarios, but before we kind of get into those scenarios, and I'll kind of let Jose give some insight on this, I would assume probably top 4 seeds are probably pretty safe at this point in time. Maybe.
Yeah, it would. Man, Georgia's the only one, but even then, it would take like a catastrophic, So I would assume these teams are safely in.
Yeah, I would assume they're in. So out of these these 5 through 12 teams, obviously the G5 representative could change. Really week to week at this point in time. But, them, Texas Tech, Notre Dame, OU, Miami, Oregon, Bama, Ole Miss, is there any team that you think is safe that's probably going to be a lock? And what teams do you think has the most threat to get knocked out?
Yeah, well, I think it's first thing we have to establish here really is that Miami is really only in there because they're the highest ranked ACC team right now. That's going to change because maybe we'll talk about it later, but the chances of Miami getting into the ACC title game are fairly low. It's going to take a lot for them to get in. So they will be replaced by Virginia or SMU or whichever the favorite is to win the ACC at this time. But Miami is only there in name. They're just a placeholder for the ACC right now. I can't imagine, as it currently stands, they'd be the ACC champion. It would take a lot. Yeah. As far as these other teams, I know we talked about Tulane, so I won't get too deep into them. I would say the safest team right now, just based on everything that's going on, is probably going to be, Ole Miss. They only have 1 loss. If they lose again, are you going to keep out a 2-loss SEC team? I don't know.
Especially because that would probably take them out of the championship game. So, probably not.
I maybe because Lane's leaving, maybe they penalize them for that. We've seen them penalize them for players. Who knows if they penalize them for coaches? But yeah, overall, I would say this entire field, I would say, I'm pretty comfortable. Yeah, this is who it's going to be. Bama, I guess, is probably your most likely team to drop out, only because they play the best team this weekend, or at least they have the toughest test. Notre Dame is a 40-point favorite against Stanford, so I can't imagine they lose.
They're probably good.
Yeah, OU I would assume is good as long as they handle business against LSU. Tech against West, like these teams, the rest of these teams right here are all substantial favorites.
Yeah.
So I would say Bama is probably your most likely team to drop out should things go south this week. But for the most part, I would say this is a pretty correct bracket.
Yeah,
I guess except Tulane, which would be the only problem I have, but that'll work itself out.
Yeah. All these like other fringe teams, I think there's not really much controversy with some of these teams. that are on the fringe of getting in. I think they got it pretty right, to be honest with you, this year.
Right.
We'll see with the G5. But so far, like I feel like they've got it pretty right so far. And I feel like they do have the best teams in there. Yeah, Miami, I think will definitely be out. And I just want to give a quick shout out to my boy Mike Elka. We were a year early on the future but we were all over it when he got there. We were like, this is going to be a team that's going to make some noise. And we were a year early, but they're here.
Hey, we were the same on Signetti too.
We were, yeah, and it absolutely hit. And my boy John was on Oklahoma, and they so far are looking pretty good to be. So we nailed some predictions right on some teams and playoff appearances.
Absolutely.
As far as this goes,
Texas,
I really want.
Do they have a shot? Is it over?
They would need just astronomical amount of help. I think it's over.
Okay. I think it's over.
I think it's over too. They would need an insane amount of help. Basically, they would need every SEC team in front of them to lose.
Yeah.
Like they would need Ole Miss to lose. They need Bama to lose. That's the two that they definitely need to lose. They need Oklahoma to lose to even have a chance. And even then, I don't know that it would happen.
Okay, so we are potentially going to have a scenario where a 2-loss SEC team gets left out, and that's Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
If Vanderbilt wins this weekend, are they in? Do they find a way in no matter what? Or are they out?
I think they're out, to be honest with you.
They need help.
They need a lot of help.
They don't control their own destiny, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I think they need a lot of help. They're a little bit better off than Texas, but they need a whole bunch of help because they're obviously not making the championship game. So,
if the committee comes to the understanding or the agreement that we're not going to leave out a 2-loss SEC team, the only team you could feasibly take out is Notre Dame, right? You would have to replace Notre Dame with Vanderbilt. Who else? I mean, Oregon's too high up, you know?
Yeah.
And every other team left is SEC.
Yeah.
Well, Miami's the ACC champ. They would get the automatic bid no matter whatever you know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm just saying, if the committee comes to the understanding that they cannot leave out a 2-loss SEC team, Notre Dame, I'm sorry, you guys are out. I would have to imagine that team would get the short end of the stick.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, especially I feel like they get a lot of love. So
yeah,
I definitely don't see that happening. The shakeup that would cause would be insane, and I don't think that they would do it, to be honest with you. But
tough job this weekend.
They do have a tough job this weekend. So conference or not conference rivalry weekend for a lot of teams this weekend. So let's run through some of these games real quick, and we'll see kind of how this will shake out. We looked at some of the scenarios for this weekend too. Big 12 more than likely is going to be looking like Texas Tech and BYU. Arizona State does have a way to get in there, but right now it's looking like Texas Tech and BYU. Arizona State's going to have some help. The Big 10 is more than likely going to be Indiana and Ohio State. But with the big game this weekend, which we'll get into here in a little bit, you never know. Michigan may find a way to sneak in somewhere. And in the ACC, if y'all could see the scenario page, it's a mile long. I mean, the top 6 teams are somehow still in contention. I mean, it require a lot of help. Duke is still in there.
5-5 or something. They're still alive.
Yeah, Duke is still alive. Virginia, SMU, Pitt, Miami. So I mean, it's still pretty wide open. As it sits right now, I would assume it's probably going to be SMU and Virginia, or I would say, Virginia, SMU, Miami. I would say, or Pitt. I would say are probably your top 3 favorites to get in there as of right now. But we'll see how it shakes out. Okay, let's get into some of these games this weekend. First up on the list, and sorry, I don't have the background stuff, with the line showing that John does, but we will. I'll shout out the lines real quick so y'all can kind of see what it is. G5 implications tomorrow with Navy, because Navy's still in the fight. They are 4.5-point dogs at Memphis. Do you have anything on this game at all?
I do not, but I can tell you the line or the money has come in on Navy. That line has shrunk by about 2 points from where it opened at 5.5. It's always encouraging to take these service academy teams, just mainly because the possessions are limited, right? Because the clock is always running here. But for what it's worth, Memphis has one of the best run defenses in the country. Yeah. They should be able to lock down Navy here. I would probably lay it with Memphis at this point, but no play for me. Both these teams are. I'm pretty sure Navy. I don't know if you talked about Navy still has a shot to make their
Yeah, they
conference
do.
championship game. I don't know if Memphis does at this point. They're just playing for pride. Um, but at the American, yeah. So Navy would need Tulane or North Texas to lose, and they would. And if they win, then they would get in. So not the craziest scenario, but nonetheless, they still are alive.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a chance. No official play for me here, but Thanksgiving I will be watching this for sure, and it
I'll
should
be
be a
watching
good game.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be watching everything. So let's roll on to the Egg Bowl. Ole Miss at Mississippi State. A lot of implications and a lot of people, a lot of rumors out there right now. With Lane Kiffin, is he staying? Is he not? Supposed to make their decision this weekend after this game. Do you think that has any effect on how Ole Miss comes out and plays? Now they know the implications. They're in the playoff right now. They should win this game. Um, but do you think that has anything that's floating around in anybody's mind over there in Ole Miss and could cause a ruckus?
Look, I'm sure it has to, right? It has to have
Yeah,
some sort of ramification on the players. It just comes down to what's Lane telling these guys. Like, has Lane
yeah,
told the guys, "Hey, you know what? I haven't made a decision yet. Hey, you guys know I'm going to be taking off after this game. Hey, you know what? I'm staying." Like, we don't know, right?
right.
I can tell you he's the overwhelming favorite to be
Yeah,
the head coach at LSU next season, but we don't know. We don't know what's actually going on behind the scenes, and we don't know if these players are still bought in. I mean, I know that if my coach was leaving for one of our, one of our divisional conference,
yeah,
opponents, when we're in the playoffs and they're not, they're having a shitty season, I would be
right.
ticked off. I'd be like, how are you
Yeah,
leaving us when we're 11-1? For a team that's 6-5 that just ran their last coach out of town. Like, why would you do this to us? You
right.
have things cooking here. So I'm sure it has some sort of ramifications on these players. How much, I have no idea. We've seen Lane Kiffin's teams come out before and be unprepared in scenarios where you would expect them to be ready to go. So this is a very, very tough game to call. I want to take Mississippi State here with the points. I
Yeah,
really do. I mean, Mississippi State's played some teams tough.
yeah,
Especially at home, took some teams to the wire. Texas, Tennessee. Like, this is not a squad that's been as bad as we thought they were this season. Very, very surprising. Really, really overall great coaching job over there done at Mississippi State. I lean towards taking the points. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel confident in laying points with Ole Miss at this point in the season, just given
yeah.
where their head coaches probably has one foot out the door. It's a rivalry game. I wish this game
Mm.
was still in the old time slot. This game used to be on Thanksgiving Day, if I'm not mistaken, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
This
yeah. Like
this
at
used to
night.
be like a this used to be
Yeah,
like a primetime game. I don't know why
yeah,
they got rid of it. I'm guessing for the NFL, but still, I used to watch this shit over the NFL all the time.
yeah,
Um, so that sucks. But I'm gonna take the points here with Mississippi State. As you talked about, this is the last week of the season, at least regular season. So I'm gonna have some money on a lot of games this weekend. Maybe not a lot. I won't have a lot on Mississippi State here, but I'm sure I'll
yeah,
have something going for me. Um, I'll take Cowbell getting 7.5 ish. Again, I just don't see how you could take Ole Miss right now. I wouldn't feel comfortable laying it right now, just given
yeah,
how their coach is probably going to be gone after the game. So
yeah. I agree with you
yeah,
100%. I like Mississippi State here +7. Um, Look, Mississippi State, their offense is actually pretty. Like they can score some points, and Ole Miss's
yeah, they can.
defense
Yeah,
sometimes to be desired for. So
yeah,
I like in a rivalry game, they're playing at home. That place is going to be loud because that people at Mississippi State in the crowd, they're going to want to spoil whatever Ole Miss has going right now.
yeah.
Any chance of playoffs. So I like Mississippi State here as well. I have not bet it, but I'll probably be betting it tomorrow or Friday morning and just kind of see how everything shakes out. But yeah, I like Mississippi State here as well. Iowa at Nebraska. Also Friday morning, same kickoff time as Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I believe this line has moved quite a bit. I think it opened around 4-ish.
Yeah.
And it is up to 6 now. And I did take this at Iowa -6 going to Nebraska. Look, Nebraska's run defense is garbage. Is
Terrible.
absolutely garbage. Absolutely one of the worst in the country. And what does Iowa do really well? They run the football. They are a physical team. We saw it when we were on Iowa against Oregon. They were just really tough in the trenches, and they run the shit out of the football. So Nebraska cannot stop anybody who can run the football efficiently, and if Gronowski can complete some throws on the offensive side of the ball, he doesn't have to be flashy, he doesn't have to be anything insane. But if he can just protect the ball, I think Iowa gets a dub here pretty handedly. So I love Iowa -6 this weekend against Nebraska. Do you have anything on this game?
I am. First of all, some news coming out of Nebraska right now. The camp over there, Dylan Raiola, makes it sound like he's going to transfer this offseason. I don't
Yeah,
know if you saw that this morning,
I
too.
did. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
been going around. That'll be really interesting to see where he lands.
yeah.
He is much more of a name than he is an actual player, if you know what
Right.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
is
I got you.
not as good as we thought that, but the name and the hype is still there, I guess, somewhat. So curious to see how that plays out. As far as this game goes, look, 6 points. To me, yeah, that felt a little short. That should have been. I think this should be longer. I think this should be over a touchdown for Iowa here.
Yeah,
I don't really see how Nebraska is going to be able to slow down this Iowa offense, which sounds crazy,
it
but
does sound wild.
that's how bad this Nebraska run defense is. It's played them all season. Any team that has any sort of a run game whatsoever is pretty much beaten Nebraska this year. I don't see why it ends here. Kirk Ferentz, we know, loves to get to 8 wins, 9 wins, and he has a chance to get there this game. So I like Iowa as well. Their defense has been playing better over these last few weeks. They were really rolling up into that Oregon game, and even that Oregon game, they probably should have won that one. So,
yeah,
this is a really, really good team right now. This is always going to be a team that I like to bet on, especially late in the season and for bowl games. So, whenever Iowa gets announced to their opponent, their players are always bought in. Yeah, this is a team we've been backing, these past few weeks, and I'm going to continue doing it. So, I'll lay with Iowa 6.5 up to 7. I think it's fine. And yeah, I like this one a lot.
yeah. I do as well. All right, let's go to the next game. You got anything real quick on Utah, Kansas? Utah at 10.5.
I know if John was here right now, he'd be singing the swan song for Jalen Daniels. So
Yeah.
since he's not here, I will listen. Anyone who's watching this podcast for the last couple of years, you guys know that we're all Jalen Daniels fans, even though he frustrates us sometimes and makes us want to fucking smash our head into the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He still has came through for us a number of times, and this should be let me just double check real quick what their current record is. They are 5-6. So you know what?
Yeah.
Out of respect to this podcast, I'll say Kansas will cover, and they're going to win to get one more game in the bowl game.
Oh, upset
you know
on Utah.
What? Do I really believe it? No. But you know what? Listen, this Kansas State last week ran the shit out of that football against Utah. I could not believe that they put up 47 fucking points against Utah last week. Now, Utah put up 50. I mean, I never would have expected a Utah K-State game to end 51-47. I'm not even sure their basketball games ends that high. So really, really insane performance by both those schools. Utah low-key has been an over machine these past few weeks. They have been running up the score, and their defense has kind of been falling off. So if you want to play the over here, I wouldn't hate it. But yeah, last game for Jalen Daniels, possibly. I hope not. I hope we can get one more out of him. Utah, for what it's worth, is pretty much out of the college football playoff picture. I don't see how they can get in here. So this line actually opened at 12.5, down to 10.5. Maybe the Sharps have realized that the motivation factor is no longer there for the Utes, just given that they pretty much cannot get in at this point. I don't see how. There's no path, in my opinion, for them to get to make the playoff, which sucks because they were a team that was really, really rolling. But that's the way it goes. So I'll take Kansas here getting the 10.5. One last bet on Jalen Daniels. I know John sent me his picks. Let me see if he actually took it one last time. He did not, but I will in honor of him in this group chat, in this chat, in this podcast. So give me Kansas one last time, 10.5.
I like that pick a lot, to be 100% honest with you.
Really?
I really do. And it was because of last week, and you said it, you had mentioned it, the Kansas State-Utah game. And also the other point of, like, Utah's probably out of the race at this point in time. So
I don't see how they get in.
I don't see how they get in at all. I mean, it would take an absolute miracle.
It would take a lot. Like, I'm talking like multiple 20-plus point underdogs winning.
Yeah. So it would take an absolute miracle, but I don't see it happening. And I'm down to ride the Jalen Daniels train one more time. I'm probably gonna be placing, like you said, a lot of bets this weekend just for it being the last week of the regular season for college football. I'm not mad at that one bit. I do like it at 10.5, so I will take it there as well. Let's go to Friday's game at 2:30. Georgia goes to Georgia Tech, laying 14. Honestly, I would lean. That's close. I would probably lean Georgia Tech in this game just because of the style that they play.
I agree.
I am worried Haynes King has got to be one wrong hit away from being done for life. I mean, that man gets ran in the dirt. But 2 touchdowns at home, and we all know how this game was last year. I don't know if anybody watched this game last year. Absolute banger. Went into, I don't remember how many overtimes that it went to or whatever. But it was an absolute banger of a game last year. So I like Georgia Tech here. I'll probably be taking them plus the 14. Do you or John have anything on this game?
John does, by the way. He does have UGA laying the 14 in this one. And John, as we know, is a former Georgia fan. So maybe he has a little inside knowledge on this one. I agree with you, though, T. I'll be taking Georgia Tech here. The question is, what's the motivation factor here, right?
Yeah.
Typically, you would question that because, Georgia Tech is now out for all intents and purposes of the CFP run, the ACC. They would need, I think, SMU, Virginia, and Pitt to all lose this week and sneak into the play. It's just not going to happen. So you question where's their mindset at now. Like after having that senior night loss against Pitt last week, are they going to be able to bounce back? And under typical circumstances, I think we would all say, you know what, this would be a game where you maybe want to fade them because you just don't know. But this is rivalry. This is good, clean, old-fashioned hate right now. They're going to get up for this game no matter what. And if they can't make the playoff, this will be their playoff game. This will be their championship game. This will be the Super Bowl, whatever you want to call it. This is the game they're going to go out there and put all the stops out for. So I think me, you, and John all really agree that on Branke, he's a great coach. He should have these boys bought in and ready to play. And it shouldn't take much. Again, it's a rivalry game here. At home, getting 2 touchdowns here. Georgia Tech is like the absolute, like the team by far in the country that plays up to their opponent or down to their opponent, right? If they're playing a shitty team, they're going to play like shit. They play a great team, they're going to play great. They're going to make it a game. So, getting 14 here, catching double digits at home, I'll take Georgia Tech. Feel pretty good about that one, actually. So, I'm sure I'll have some coin on that. I want to say this game, was this always Black Friday or was this Thursday as well? Thanksgiving before as well?
No, last year, I believe it was Friday last year.
It was Friday, okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But wasn't it prime time? Because right now it's noon right now.
Yeah. No, it was prime time last year because I remember I was hanging out with some friends on Friday night, and we were watching this game. It was an absolute banger.
One of the best
games. Absolute banger. Yeah.
This thing was nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Fire game. So yeah. Speaking of prime time, A&M, absolutely huge game here. A&M goes to Texas as 2.5-point favorites. They're laying 2.5 on the road at Texas. Primetime game Friday night, huge game.
SEC
absolutely huge
implications
game.
Here.
Yes, it is. A lot of implications here. So, do you or John have anything on this game? I'll let you start with this one.
John is calling his shot. Texas money line on this one. He's taking horns. So he is bought in on Arch. One last hoorah, I guess. Listen, this is a great rivalry game that we don't get the pleasure of watching too often. At least we didn't when we were growing up, right? Yeah. This game hasn't been played in a while. Now they're in the same conference. You'll see this played every week. And I know Texas's main rival is Oklahoma, of course, but this is a close second. This one should be fantastic to watch. You know what? Again, this is a game where Texas, for all intents and purposes, their season is over, right? They don't really have a path to get into the CFP. We both agree on that. I mean, it would take a lot of work for them to get in.
Yeah.
A lot. Could have happened, I guess, but for the most part, they should be out. Right. So here you're going to bring out all the stops. Here you're going to empty out the playbook. Whatever Arch Manning has in his bag right now, you should unload that, right? Yep. Unload that arsenal. You know what I mean? I don't really see why you would keep anything in your back pocket for this one. This is your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is your playoff game. This is everything for you. For Steve Sarkisian, a very, very underwhelming season for Texas, right? They had the talent to compete. We came into the season, we thought to ourselves that this team was probably the best team in the country, power rating wise. I thought they were, right there with Ohio State, and they've really, really disappointed. And if they lose this game and go to 8-4 this season, that would be a historically bad fall from where they were supposed to be, because this is not. They have too much talent on this roster to be this bad. Look, I'll be honest with you. When this line first opened up, Texas A&M -2, 2.5-ish, I thought that was kind of short. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
I thought this line should have been bigger. I was ready to bet Texas. I'll be honest with you. I wanted to bet Texas in this game, but I thought I would get 4.5 or something like that. Right. 2.5 now, below that key number of 3, of course, makes me lean A&M.
Yeah.
The smart play would probably be A&M. And if you want to bet A&M, I would probably applaud you. But I just probably going to end up having some money on Texas in this one. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a massive game, primetime, Black Friday. The stadium will be rocking. This is it for them. They have I'm not saying they have to win this game because their season's over anyways, but this is a game. This is what they're playing for. This is a Super Bowl. This is it. So conventional wisdom tells me to lay with A&M. I think they've been one of the best teams in the country all year. Well, they have had a few hiccups these last few weeks though, so you never know.
They have.
Against South Carolina, obviously they should have lost that game. But yeah, I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and end up having some coin on Texas. You know what? It's 2.5 right now. T. If this thing gets to 3, I feel
I
like
feel
I'm
like you have
obligated to
to.
take Texas.
Yeah.
So I lean Texas right now. Um, if it gets to 3, I'll be on it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna put the hook 'em up, but it's a very, very sad, like low key one. I don't have a lot of faith behind it, but I'm
Yeah.
sure I'll get some coin on there one last time. This
Yeah.
Texas, by the way, this Texas secondary has not been as up to par recently. So if A&M's going to attack them, it's going to be through the air.
Yeah.
This Texas defense has gone. I don't want to say the defense. The run defense has been okay, but this in the past, as far as rushing the passer, it's been pretty good. But their corners have not held up in coverage at all. So I'm really curious to see how they're what kind of game plan they have for this game right here, because A&M has some dogs in the wide receiver position.
Yeah, they do.
Concepcion and Craver.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. I have not made my decision on this game. When we were talking last weekend, kind of when this line to drop. This is one that I've been thinking about, and I've still been thinking about. I have not made my decision yet.
It depends where the line goes.
It does. It really does.
Like if this thing goes back to like a pick or something, then yeah, maybe I go ahead and take A&M at that price.
Yeah.
But if it shades towards Texas, then yeah, I'm probably gonna be on Texas.
Yeah, same. If I'm gonna watch it and see where it goes. If it ends up coming down, I'm probably gonna be on A&M. If it gets to 3, I will be on Texas. I feel like I have to getting 3 at home. But we'll kind of see where that one goes. Let's keep on going here to Clemson and South Carolina. Does South Carolina laying 2.5 at home against Clemson? Do you have anything on that game for Saturday morning?
I would lay it with South Carolina.
Yeah.
Don't have a whole lot to offer in this one, but I think I'm going to bet this one to lay it with South Carolina here. I think this will be Cade Klubnik's last game at Clemson.
Yep.
He had a big senior day ovation. They were clapping. I think it was you that said in the
yeah.
They're clapping because he's fucking gone now. He's no longer playing there, bro. So, if I have a chance to fade him one last time, I will. Against South Carolina, been one of the more disappointing teams this season at all.
Yeah.
Another team that I don't know how you were on them in the preseason. I know I came on here and said I wasn't that high on them.
Yeah.
And they did not live up to any sort of expectations whatsoever. But I do think they have a talent edge over Clemson overall. So I would lay it here with them, and I feel pretty confident in that one as well.
All right. And then after that, the game, our Ohio State Buckeyes are laying 10 on the road at Michigan. I vividly remember this game. What was the line last year? Like 21, 24?
Yeah, I think it was like 19. No, it might have been 21. It might have been 21.
I think it was 21.
At Ohio State.
And Michigan goes in there and gets it up. I remember sitting there thinking, like,
how in the fuck did this happen?
How is this a 21-point line right now? And I didn't take Michigan. I should have. Like, while it was going on, I was like, we should have known that this is how this game was going to go, and take Michigan, and it didn't do it. Now here we are on the road at Michigan, laying 10. Do we fall for it once again and take Ohio State, or do we take Michigan at home? Does Ohio State lose 4 in a row at the Big House? What you got on this game?
You know what? Here's what I'm gonna say. I'll say this. I'll say this, that like after last year, what happened last year in that game will forever prove to me that yes, when it's rivalry week, and I'm talking like 2 heated rivals, right?
Yeah.
You have to throw records out the window. Everything goes out the window. I'm sorry, it just does. Because these players, and I know like you and I, we played sports growing up, and when you're playing against like a local rival or like there's something inside you that just ignites, you just fucking catch fire, dude. And it's hard to explain, and that's something with when it comes to gambling, right? We're all about numbers, and we'll always be about numbers, right? You don't bet teams, you bet numbers. You look at analytics, you look at statistics, you look at all this stuff, and you use that data to back up your picks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't quantify rivalry week.
No.
Because there is something inside each person that just fucking lights a fire. If you go back and watch highlights of Ohio State, Michigan, these players are going at it, dude. And they are fucking ready to go. Yeah. And they play much, much better than they would on a normal week, if they're that type of guy. If you're dealing with that kind of guy that lives up to the moment, that wants to be there, that wants to fucking etch their name in history, then you can't quantify that with numbers and data. Yeah. And that just proved it to me last year, because Michigan had no business beating Ohio State last year, dude. That was one of the worst teams I've ever fucking seen, and they beat Ohio State. It's not happening this year. It's not happening this year, dude. It's not.
Laying
Minus
it.
10 points. And laying it with 10 points, I'm sorry. That seems short to me, dude. That is not like, you know what? And this Michigan team, Sharon Moore, like, I'll give him credit for being 9-2. Because I've said all, the offseason, and I've said the entire season, this guy's not a good coach. This Michigan team, while it's okay, it's not that great. But to be 9-2 with that roster and that, the personnel they have, I applaud it. Good job. But they haven't played anybody.
Yeah.
Like, who have they really – the only good teams they played, they fucking lost to.
Yeah.
Right? They lost to Oklahoma. They lost to SC. You know? And SC beat the let me tell you something right now. SC beat the shit out of those boys, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even a game.
Right.
Okay? And USC's defense, their run D is not as good as Ohio State's. Yeah. And their receivers, while Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon are great receivers, they are not as good as Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. They're just not.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 points, I get it. Like, you have to put some respect on Michigan's name for what they've done in this rivalry, but that's just too short. It's too short. Yeah. I will have money on Ohio State. If Michigan comes out and gets a bullshit-ass touchdown, which they probably will, because that's what happens in these games, they return the opening kick for a touchdown. Or Julian Sane fucking muffs a fucking, or the punter muffs the kick and they get, whatever. I don't know. If Michigan takes the lead, I'll double down on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I just, Ryan Day, like, it's crazy to me that fans are still crying for this guy, to be under fire because they cannot beat Michigan. And I know he hears it. I know he does. They're going to run this score up if they get the opportunity to.
Thanks.
So if they're up by 7 and it's late in the game, they will keep passing that shit, dude. Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, as long as they play. They didn't play last week. For what I understand, it was just all precautionary, right? They were keeping them out for this game. Yeah. But as long as they play, there's no way. There's just simply no way. If it happens again, you know what? I don't know. I'll think of something I'll do. I will do. If Michigan beats Ohio State, I will do something on this podcast or I'll go do something in real life. But there's no way that they get it 4 times in a row. They're not going down 4 times in a row. Minus 10, I would lay it to you. I feel pretty good about it. The only good teams that Michigan's played to this year, they fucking lost. And USC is like Ohio State light, like mega light, like way worse than Ohio State. And USC beat the crap out of them. Yeah. Lay it with the Buckeyes minus 10. This is the game they show up in. There's no way.
Yeah. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I have already bet this at minus 10. Look, this is Ohio State defense. We have said it week in, week out. We are Ohio State fans. We are Ohio State podcasts. There ain't no way in hell, even with it being this game, that I can go against Ohio State. There's just no chance. I do think Ohio State is going to, like you said, run the score up. This game,
they will.
I think
if they get the opportunity to, they will.
If they will, 100% will. I think this one is more personal than any of the other ones have been so far, just off of how last year was. And I mean, the past 3 in a row. They got to get one. You know what I mean? They got to get one. I think this is the one. Lay it with Ohio State all day. Did John bet on this game or no?
Yes, John did. And in true John fashion, our boy took Michigan in this one. And this is an Ohio State podcast, but you know what? John is the one guy who's not necessarily on board. He's not on the train. But again, here's what I was. Let me tell you this, dude. Let me just say this: if you want to bet Michigan in this game, I wouldn't even take the points. I would just take the money line.
Yeah,
because if they cover this spread, they're probably gonna fucking win. You know what I mean? Facts. But I just don't see it this year. Not this year, dude.
I don't
Not
either.
This year. Ohio State hasn't played a big game in weeks, right? In months. Ohio State, they're ready to go. Trust me, they are ready to go. They'll be ready to go. Ohio State in a big game, any big game in the history of the world, you take Ohio State. Yeah. Win, lose, or draw, you'll be entertained at the very least.
Yeah. Man, that's gonna hurt when Michigan wins. Miami goes to Pitt. ACC implications for the ACC playoff here. Laying 7 on the road at Pitt. Do you or John have anything on this game?
I'm just checking John's text messages right now. He does not have anything for this game. I do have something for this game, and I feel pretty good about it. I'm going to lay with Miami.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for Miami, guys. Like, honestly, I don't really know what their path is to the CFP at this point. It's going to be an interesting conversation to have with Miami and Notre Dame, right? And I think when the first rankings came out, I came on this podcast and I was saying how I don't really understand how Miami is ranked so far below Notre Dame. They were like 8 spots below when they had the same amount of losses, and Miami beat Notre Dame. And it seems like the committee has kind of like realized that they fucked up, because every week since that, Miami is inched closer and closer to Notre Dame in the rankings. Yeah. And that'll probably be, as of right now, like that'll be the biggest like conversation the committee has going into selection day is, Are we going to reward Miami for scheduling and beating Notre Dame, a team that we have ahead of them? I don't know. That's a conversation for another day. But I'm just saying Miami needs to keep winning, and they need to keep winning convincingly. Pitt is coming off a great win, like an emotional win. Narduzzi coached a hell of a game, had a hell of a game plan. Going back to the Notre Dame game where he said, you know what, I'm going to throw this shit in. I don't care about this game. I'll throw in the towel on this one, and I'm going to focus all my efforts on Georgia Tech. And we said at the time that's kind of stupid. But at the same time, if it works out the way that you say it does, it's kind of genius.
Right.
And look at him now. He looks like a fucking genius. Although he had that fake punt that he went for on fourth down. I don't know if you remember that one, which was ridiculous. I don't know what the hell. I think he even came out and apologized for that, saying, I'm sorry, that was a stupid play. Like, yeah, that was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll lay with Miami here because at the end of the day, they Miami will always have an advantage over pretty much anybody in the country when it comes to the trenches, right? Offensive line, defensive line, Miami is one of the best on both sides of the ball. And for Pitt, while their run D has been good, their offensive line has been a little shaky. I'm not totally convinced. I think this Miami defensive line should be able to eat in this game. And again, a very, very emotional win for Pitt. And I'm just curious to see if there's a letdown because for as big as a win that was, reality has to set in that they still don't control their own destiny. Like you did all that effort, and at the end of the day, like it's still probably gonna be Virginia, SMU, and I wonder if that's gonna impact their mind whatsoever. Miami's been knowing for weeks now that they're pretty much out of the ACC run. You know, and for Pitt to go out there and win and did not have any help, right? Like if you were a Pitt fan, you were probably hoping that Louisville beat SMU last week. They got their ass kicked. You're hoping Virginia slipped up and they didn't, you know, and now you're still on the outside looking in, and you have to play against your third, like really good team in a row, like Notre Dame, amazing team. You had to play against Georgia Tech, who you beat, but still a good team. Now you got to play Miami, another elite team. I wonder if I think it finally gets to them here. So I'll lay with Miami.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Just this back-to-back, this spot in the back-to-back games right here, and the teams they played really back-to-back tough, and I think Miami's defense has a chance to really feast in this game. So I'm pretty comfortable laying it with Miami here as well. The Iron Bowl, Bama goes to Auburn, laying 6. Deuce Knight gets his premiere last week against Mercer and balled out for all intents and purposes. Now it was Mercer, but he balled out, and I'll give it to him. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of want to take the points here with Auburn. I really do. I haven't done it yet, but I'm kind of leaning that way. Look, these games are always crazy. It's rivalry week.
Jordan Hare at night is nuts.
Jordan O'Hare at night is insane. And the only thing that worries me, I don't know if Deuce is going to be starting in this game. I don't know if they've come out and said
it's going to be Ashton Daniels, but I imagine Deuce will play. I'm sure he'll have a package.
Yeah. So. I'm curious to see how they do playing against Bama here. But look, Bama's got a lot to lose with losing this game. So these games are always insane. They always come down to the wire for the most part. At home, Saturday morning, I will be taking Auburn more than likely +6. Do you or John got anything on this game?
Is this game in the morning? I thought it was at night.
It is at 11
a.m.
My time, 11 my time.
No.
Yeah, that's what it's showing right here for me.
Wow, I thought this game was at night.
John
does not have a.
It is.
It is, right? Yeah,
it's at night. It's at night. It says
say, wait a minute.
Okay, yeah, but it is at night. Yeah, it is.
Which doesn't happen very often. If everybody, for this rivalry game, this game is normally like in the afternoonish / morningish. So for it to be at night is big for Auburn.
Yeah.
John does not have a play on this game. I do have a play on this game because I firmly believe that one of these teams in the CFP will slip up this week, and I think it's going to be Bama.
Yeah.
Because they have been teetering this past month and a half. They have been skating, just inching by some of these teams, and they should have lost. And I think Auburn gets them this time. You talked about Jordan Hare, especially at night, is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous environment. Mm-hmm. If you guys remember a few years ago, I think Auburn won outright like a 17-point dogs. They had a year where they should have won another year. Then Jalen Milroe hit that like Hail Mary to Isaiah Bond in the last play of the game. That's what it was, right, Tyler?
Yeah.
Where Milroe threw that Hail Mary at the end. And Auburn always put – Auburn always puts up a fight at home, and I'll take the 5 points. Listen, Auburn's defense, for what it's worth, has been legit this year, like one of the best in the country. That's the reason why they even have a chance to make bowl eligibility. Just of how good this defense is. You cannot run on Auburn, which I guess is okay for Bama because Bama cannot run the ball this year.
Right.
Like what Bama is doing running the ball this year has been an absolute joke. It's been a travesty. Kalen DeBoer, for as good as an offensive mind as he is, he could not figure out the run game this year. And that's going to come back to bite him at some point. I think it'll be now. It's all going to fall on Ty Simpson here, but you're putting way too much stress on the kid to go into Jordan Hare and win the game on his own. At least definitely to cover that 6.5-ish. If it gets to 7, I'm all in on Auburn. I don't think it will. I don't think it will, but I want to say last I checked, it was at 6.
It's at 6 right now, yeah.
If it just, for whatever reason, if it gets to 7, I will be all in on Auburn in this one. Defense is legit, like I said. Now, offensively, I'm surprised they're not starting Deuce Knight. Now, Ashton Daniels does have some mobility, which is encouraging because Alabama cannot guard running quarterbacks this year. That's really, really struggled. It's really, really plagued them this year. If you have the ability to maneuver in the pocket, and extend plays, those kind of quarterbacks. That prototype is really, really giving Bama some trouble. So, I guess it's too much to ask of Deuce Knight as a true freshman, I guess, to start the Iron Bowl. But I'm sure he'll have a package. And again, Ashton Daniels does have some ability, and so does Jackson Arnold. I'm sure he'll get some game time as well. So I like Auburn here. I do. I'll take the 6 points at home. Should be a hell of a game. I'll say a low-scoring game, something like 24-21. Bama, Auburn, either way. Yeah. But I do think somebody will slip up this week, and I think it might be Alabama in the Iron Bowl. These games are nuts. I cannot wait for this one.
I agree 100%. Okay, next game on the slate kind of has ACC implications somehow. Duke laying 1 at home against Wake Forest. Do you or John got anything for that one?
John doesn't. I don't either, but I want to give some credit to Wake Forest because this team is actually pretty damn good this year.
Yeah, they're
8-3. They win this game, they'll be 9-3. Way better than we ever thought they would be. So credit to them and that program over there. Again, no play for me, but just want to give a shout out to that team because they have exceeded expectations tremendously.
Yeah. You said John did have a play or he does not?
He does not.
Okay. LSU going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma laying 10. I think I like Oklahoma in this game. Look, LSU, they're done. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're done. It's over with. They are, moving on. Head coaching search, and they've been really ass this year in all facets of the game. So I think I like Oklahoma here. In this game, laying 10 at home. Do you or John have anything for this one?
John does not. I do have a play on this game, and I feel pretty good about it as well. I am on the same boat as you. I like Oklahoma laying 10 here. I don't really. I hate to take too much out of these games because I don't really know what these players' mindsets are. Right. But LSU last week against Western Kentucky was an absolute fucking joke. I mean, that was one of the worst fucking performances I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how the fuck Van Buren got a scholarship to LSU because he's terrible.
Yeah.
And if it's for all, it should be him this week. If he struggled against Western Kentucky, I don't see how he does it on the road at Oklahoma. Yeah. In a game where Oklahoma knows if we win, we are in the playoffs. Like this is it for us. We win this game, we're gonna host a playoff game. So much on the line for Venables, so much on the line for OU. They really impressed me this year. I can't see them dropping this one, and I think 10 points is still too short. I think Oklahoma by 14 plus seems about right.
I agree with you 100%. All right, let's go to the next game on the slate. Oregon going to Washington. Oregon laying 6.5 on the road at Washington. Both these teams getting big wins last week. Washington beating the dog shit out of UCLA. And then Oregon getting a dub over SC. Oregon on the road laying 6.5. Do you or John have anything for that one?
John does not. I do. I like Washington here at home, getting 6.5-ish points. Listen, they're getting healthier. Jonah Coleman's supposed to be back this week. I think he was banged up last week, or if he wasn't 100% if he was playing. But I really, really like what I had this game actually circled for a few weeks now. Underrated rivalry. Like these two teams hate each other. The stadium will be rocking. We know that Husky Stadium is one of the better environments in the country. For a while, they had one of the longest home field winning streaks until I think Ohio State beat it early in the year. But a really, really underrated environment. Oregon, are they in danger of being? If they lose this game, are they out? Or you think they're good, regardless?
I mean, they definitely could be out because I don't think they'll make the title game.
Well, no, they definitely won't make the title game. It should be Ohio State, Indiana,
and Indiana. You know? So, I think they have a very solid chance of getting kicked out if they lose this game.
So, a lot of implications here, a lot of on the line. Could be an emotional let. I mean, it could be a letdown, but it is rivalry week, so I can't really play that angle here.
Yeah.
But it's just a game. I still don't trust Dante Moore.
Yeah.
I know he's getting some hype again as the QB1 for the upcoming draft or the next draft. I don't see it. I'll be honest with you. Like I was never really impressed with him. I'm curious to see if DeCorian Moore plays. I don't think he played against SC.
Yeah.
And they're going to need him in order to beat that UW secondary.
Yeah.
But again, something about UW at home, and historically they've been great there. I just think the market's caught on, like how good this team is when they're playing, in their home stadium. So I like the 6.5 here. I'll take it. I think they're live to win the money line as well. So yeah, give me the Huskies.
Yeah. If Oregon loses this weekend, Michigan somehow pulls it off against Ohio State, both 10-2, who gets in? Michigan or Oregon?
Jeez, it would have to be Michigan, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would say
they would have the best. They would have the best. They would have the best win in the country.
I agree with you. So, it could happen. It absolutely could happen this weekend. Florida State sitting at a pick. Anything for y'all in this game? I do not.
Oh, I have no interest in this game. Yeah, this is the disappointment bowl right here.
Yeah, it is. That game's gonna suck. ACC implications here for Virginia. Laying 9.5 at home against Virginia Tech. Normally, I wouldn't put a whole lot of merit into it, but it is rivalry week, so you never know what could happen. Anything for y'all in this game?
No, but if I'm going to bet, I'll take Hokies money line.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer fact that I think Virginia sucks and they shouldn't be in the ACC title.
100%.
This team shouldn't be sniffing the playoffs. So just for the sake of the humanity, I'll help Hokies win.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more, to be honest with you. And everything else is just our huge spreads for this week. So is there any other bets or games that you or John have that we did not cover tonight?
There is one more game that I want to just touch on that John did bet as well. He took the Vols -3 against Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia. Pavia, in my opinion, still has an outside shot at the Heisman. I think he'll get to the ceremony at the very least. No one's been running away with this thing, in my opinion, and I still think if Vanderbilt finishes 10-2, they have a shot at making the CFP. I'm actually going to take Vandy because I think these teams are pretty much dead even, and I'll take the 3 points here. Interesting. Like that's the only other conversation I think that's left to be had for the playoff is what do you do with Vanderbilt at 10-2?
Yeah,
because it's going to be tough to leave out an SEC team that finished with double-digit wins. But again, who are you going to kick out? So
yeah.
Really, really interested to see how this thing shakes out. But John did take the Vols. I'm going to take Vandy. So we'll go head-to-head on that one.
All right. And that is going to be everything for this game, unless there's anything else that y'all have or for this weekend. Fire weekend of ball coming up. We're going to have the Pilgrim Parlay tomorrow. For those of y'all who don't know, we do this every year. Any sport that is playing tomorrow, football, basketball, soccer,
Russian ice hockey,
ping pong, it don't matter. We're going to do a parlay, so everybody sends in a bet, and we will put it in a parlay and see how it goes for any sport at any time of the day. Was this our fourth or fifth?
This is our fifth annual year? Pilgrim Parlay.
Yeah, fifth year in a row.
We've never hit one, but we've gotten close, so we'll see.
We have not. We have gotten close. So, if anybody wants to join in on the action, we will be posting that out tomorrow for our annual Pilgrim Parlay, and then we'll be watching some ball. So that's going to be a wrap for this week. It's a little bit shorter of an episode this week. Once again, keep our boy John in your thoughts and prayers, and be with him this week. And we hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving tomorrow. We'll be back on schedule again next Wednesday, I believe. And then we'll
conference
championships weeks, and we'll do it all over again. So I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving tomorrow. Appreciate y'all tuning in tonight, and we'll see you next week.